Will she, won't she? That's the question we'd been asking in the run-up to the budget 2023, and she has. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman did not disappoint India's middle class and announced the much-needed bonanza that we have been waiting for, we the salaried class in India. You are watching our rolling coverage of Budget 2023 here on News 9 Plus. With me in the newsroom, once again joining Krishna Kumar and Karthik Malhotra. Gentlemen, I want to first begin by asking you, what sort of relief are we looking at? Because, you know, this was much anticipated. Karthik, to you first. This was much anticipated. A tax rebate of up to 7 lakh is a cause of joy for a lot of people.
Right. So I think Nirmala Sitharaman, Honorable Finance Minister, had been alluding to this for a while when she said she relates with the middle class. It was still in the realm of speculation, but I think that speculation has ended, and indeed her heart and mind were aligned. They were in the same place. So it does seem that, yeah, Finance Minister has delivered on the dream of the middle class, on the dreams of the salaried class. The good news here is that even the the net taxpayers in the country, she mentioned in the speech, have gone up from 6 crores to 6.5 crores. So the tax net had widened already at the start of the speech, and I think with the new tax regime coming in, there are better chances of the tax net widening.
Yeah.
Why? Simply because up to 7 lakh rupees, there is no income tax to be paid. If you don't pay the income tax, there's no hesitancy in filing the tax returns. So you file the tax return, it could be a nil tax return, a zero tax return, but you're included in the tax net. So I think that is one positive at a fundamental level.
Okay. Krishna, the tax net has increased, that's positive. 6.5 lakh. So 6 lakh crore is still not a lot of number. It's
6.5
crore is still 4 to 5% of the total country's population. It is a positive sign, however. Briefly tell us, what are the changes that the tax slabs will now see come the new financial year?
Right. So thank you for that. You're right in saying that every time the tax net widens, even by 0.5%, it's a cause for joy as in a country like India, because it's something that's very, very important to bring more people under the tax net. And so here's a simple breakdown of what has happened with the tax regime in India. The old tax regime largely stays the same. The changes in the slabs have been made to the new tax regime, where 0 to 3 lakhs of annual income will be no tax, 3 to 6 lakhs will be 5%, 6 to 9 lakhs will be 10%, 9 to 12 lakhs will be 15%, and anything above 15 lakhs is going to be taxed at 30%. That's a change in the tax slabs in the new tax regime. And therein, let me be the party pooper over here and bring out a sort of a negative in that, in the sense that any income above 15 lakhs, and 15 lakhs is a great average for the middle class of India, in my humble opinion. 15 lakhs is what, anybody who's about 5 years down in their career, or 10 years down in their career in India on average in IT sector or any other sector earns. Their tax burden has technically gone up. What you've done here is that you brought the tax burden less on the lower middle class and sort of pushed it up on the upper middle class, if I may, Karthik.
Right, but I think, I was just running some numbers. We didn't have much time. Shweta pulled us into this discussion very quickly. But I was just running some numbers, and even for the 15 lakh salaried guy, it doesn't seem like too much of a burden. If anything, it seems like a slightly reduced burden, if my numbers are right. I'm sorry, I'm not a chartered accountant. I haven't really done too much number crunching on Excel sheets. But to look at it, break down to 15 lakh rupee annual income. Now it is, because until 7 lakhs there is zero tax. If you are to now look at somebody earning more than 7 lakhs and by 15 lakhs you fall into that category, then let's break up the numbers. On the 15 lakh rupees salary, 0 to 3 lakhs there is nil tax to be paid. For the 3 to 6 lakh rupee, I'm talking about the same 15 lakh earning IT professional that Krishna mentioned. For the 3 to 6 lakh rupee of that 15 lakhs, he's paying 15,000 rupees in tax. This is 5% of those 3 lakh rupees, 3 lakh to 6 lakh. So 3 lakh rupees, 5% on that, 15,000 rupees. Now his income or her income from 6 to 9 lakhs is taxed at 10%. That 3 lakh rupees between 6 to 9 will have a tax outgo of 30,000 rupees. 9 to 12 taxed at 20%. Will have an outgo at the rate of 20%, 45,000 rupees, and 12 to 15 lakh rupees, which is the cap because the salary is at 15, will be taxed at 30%. This becomes 60,000 rupees. So for a 15 lakh earning employee in the country, He's paying no tax 0 to 3, 15,000 rupees tax up to 6 lakhs of salary, add another 30,000 rupees for 6 to 9, 45,000 rupees for 9 to 12, and 60,000 rupees to from 12 to 15, and that's the number. 1.5 lakh rupees tax on a salary of 15 lakh rupees is technically 10% in tax.
Effective 10%.
Effective 10% tax. That sounds too good to be true, honestly. Now, is it true? I don't know. A CA will have to tell us. But yeah, basic number crunching tells us it's true.
Okay, so the basic number crunching that we've done here tells you that if you're earning up to 15 lakh rupees, you're only paying up to 1.5 lakh rupees in taxes, effectively 10% of your salary.
And Shweta, extrapolate that to somebody earning, let's say, 20 lakh rupees, right? So it's an average techie who's done better than average, got an increment or 2. And when the salary has gone up to 20 lakh rupees, effectively, by the same logic, by the same calculation, he is paying or she is paying a total tax of only 3 lakh rupees. This is 15%. So for a 20 lakh rupee income, the tax outgo is only 3 lakh rupees, which is 15% of the annual income in tax.
So this is the new tax regime.
This is the new tax regime. From what I understand,
and this will be the default tax regime.
That's right. So Finance Minister mentioned very clearly in his speech that the default tax regime is going to be the new tax regime. However, individuals, salaried individuals, have a choice to continue to opt for the old tax regime. Also, I think it is a clear function of fine-tuning your returns when you're filing them and try and see which of the two tax regimes make more sense for you. Of course, like the Finance Minister had mentioned previously as well in the last budget speech, if you opt for the new tax regime, then the exemptions are unaccounted for. So you don't get any exemptions.
Okay, but you know, it's interesting because a lot of salaried class has been waiting for some sort of relief as far as the old tax regime is also concerned. But we haven't really heard anything on old tax regime. However, from signs that we're hearing, the fact that there have been more concessions, changes in rebate, it feels like we are likely to lose out on the old tax regime in the coming financial year. I mean, that's the prediction.
It sounds logical, Shweta. It definitely sounds logical because the Finance Minister has stayed completely mum on the old tax regime and has added whatever incentives only in the new tax regime. So it seems for all practical purposes, it's a gradual phase out of the old tax regime. Now, of course, the devil is in the detail, and we'll have to look at the number of people by the end of the next coming financial year for which the budget has been presented, on how many citizens opted for the new tax regime, how many opted for the old tax regime. If that data comes out, I think the Finance Minister is going to be, whoever the Finance Minister is in the next budget, is going to be a little more empowered to take the decision on continuing with the old tax regime or scrapping it altogether.
Okay, just to add to that, remember this is the last full budget of the current government. Next year, we are anticipating union elections. There could be a change in who's going to be the finance minister. We don't know just as yet, but bonanza there, of course, for the middle class. Karthik and Krishna, I also want to bring in what's in the bag of the finance minister for senior citizens and women, because there was some sort of earmarked announcement for both these categories.
Right. So again, numbers just off the cliff. I think the Mahila Saman Yojana has been introduced this year, and this is offering an interest rate of 7.5% to women. This is a women-only new scheme launched by Finance Minister, just announced about an hour ago in her budget speech. So 7.5% interest rate is what this Mahila Saman Yojana is going to give women investors or women savers, as they may be. Speaking about senior citizens, last year around July, if memory serves me right, the interest rate on senior citizen savings schemes had gone up to 7.6%. Remember, this was an era where we were in a low interest rate cycle. So fixed deposits were not lucrative enough. So at 7.6%, the senior citizen savings scheme was meant to be a good fillip to the pension that senior citizens were drawing already. And for those who were not drawing any pension at all, this was an added income by way of interest accrued on the savings they have made for their lives. The limit for the 7.6% was capped at 15 lakh rupees of savings. Now, that has been doubled in this budget presentation. So it has been doubled from 15 lakh rupees to 30 lakh rupees. That means senior citizens, those who are above 60 years, male, female, both, if they want to park their lifetimes of savings into the senior citizen scheme, they don't need to be restricted to 15 lakhs only. They can draw the 7.6% interest rate for up to 30 lakh rupees of savings.
Okay. There was a lot of talk in the budget, Karthik and Krishna, about how ITRs would be made easy to file. Because, you know, one of the pain points of a lot of people who file their taxes is they don't know how to do it. They have to hire services. They don't end up filing tax returns. And we are now given to understand ITR would be made simpler.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Right. First of all, it was good to hear the finance minister announce the fact that the average rate of processing of income tax refunds in the country is now being brought down to just 16. That's a very significant development in my mind, because 16 days has been brought down to 16 days, right? So the average time taken is 16 days for income tax refunds to be processed, which is it is a quantum leap in many ways. And going forward, the finance minister did talk about a brand new generation, portal for income tax filing that is in the works. But then there were no details that were given in the budget about what that portal is going to be about and how better it's going to be than the current one. So, we are awaiting details on the front, but both of these things are very good. The fact that tax refunds processing time has been reduced so much, and the fact that even for filing, there's going to be a brand new portal that's going to be far more intuitive, far more easy to use, and entice millennials and all the young people out there to start filing their taxes at the earliest.
Okay. Well, that's the hope. And, on the people who are paying the highest tax, which is at 42.7%. Often, we've been talking about people who pay the highest tax of 42.7% and then compare it to very rich farmers who end up paying nothing. The surcharge on the highest tax has also been reduced to 25%. What does it really mean for people who are paying a lot of tax? Often a complaint of taxpayers in this country is that you have a very small tax net and you charge us a lot more instead of expanding that tax net. Some relief there for the highest taxpayers as well?
Yes, again, I'm not a chartered accountant, so that disclaimer goes up front, and I'm yet to run all the numbers. But from what I remember from the budget speech, in fact, this was something, the super rich tax was partly introduced last year. Now, in the budget speech presented by the finance minister today, the data is something like this. So, from 50 lakh rupees and up to 1 crore rupees, there's a 15% if your income is above 1 crore rupees, and up to 2 crore rupees is 25% if your income is above 2 crores up to 5 crore rupees. And there was a 37% surcharge which was applicable up until will be applicable up until 31st March this year. Now, the highest limit for that surcharge has been reduced from 37% to 25%. And this also means that the maximum tax rate, which was prevalent at about 42.7%, will now come down. With the surcharge reduced, it will now come down to about 39%. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, the super rich will still be taxed almost at 40%. Well, now on the slightly lower end of 40 and 39% than the 42.7%. So, yeah, a meager 3% more income in the hands of the super rich.
So, tax relief for people of all kinds in the country, it's a great message to send out from a budget, I think.
Yes, tax all people, a lower tax for the highest earning individual, not very significant there, but tax regime there getting simplified for a lot of people. People who are earning up to 7 lakhs will not be paying any tax in the new regime. Remember, the new regime will be a default regime. You can still choose the old regime if you feel like there's going to be simplified filing of income tax return come the new financial year. We are still hoping to go through the fine prints of the budget to actually understand what kind and extent of relief you, the salaried class, will get come the new financial year. But bonanza there for the salaried class as expected, as we've been talking about here on News 9 Plus. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us on the show today. Thanks very much for all those who've tuned in. Keep watching News 9 Plus. Thank you.